to the fight game. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and we're the Gap Band 2, as we are referring to each other with the gaps in our teeth. But there were some fights last weekend, man. But let's talk about the fights that are coming up this week with Baval and Better Beeve, man. I can't call this one. I like Better Beeve. I will give the nod to Better Beeve, but I really can't call this one. All I know is going to be somebody's not going to be knocked out of knocked out of their head with this one because these guys both punch hard. They don't back down. It will be a great fight to watch October 12th.
No, I agree with you. I think that both of these guys are capable of winning, but I think styles make fights. Beterbiev is more conventional, straightforward. If you drop your guard long enough, he will knock you in the next week and can KO you, right? He can take you out. But I think Baval brings to the point, to the ring, the standpoint of his style is he's very, very versatile. He can box you a little bit. Still has enough power to kind of put you down, but he has that ability. And I think that's going to help him along the way. You just saw the way that he kind of handled Canelo, right? And even though this is a higher weight, kind of really a natural light heavyweight that he's facing, I think that he's focused, he's in shape. You can tell he's just really on this. And again, does not mean that Beterbiev can't win the fight. He has he has one punch power to end it. But I think Baval's ability and the way he handles the business once he gets into a routine, he's really focused and he has the versatility to do what he has to do to win.
Yeah, like I said, I can't call this one. I just want to enjoy this one to see which guy comes out on top. Like I said, I think this is going to be an entertaining fight. I don't know how long the fight is going to last because these two are bombers. They like to drop those bombs. And if I had to do it, I would give Baval the nod on this one. But who knows? If you get caught, it's boxing. Whoever gets caught may go out, and it could be a surprise. There's some other fights coming up I want you to talk about. So I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Yeah, I know. I think on the 13th, uh, Takuma Inoue, the Monster's little brother, is fighting a bantamweight fight, and that's very interesting because he's right there in the mix, trying to make his name for himself, right below his brother. Right, I think his brother's fighting at like 118 or something to that effect. So he's right there in bantamweight trying to make his name. But then also the next day after that is the guy that I want to see the monster fight, which is Junto Nakatani, who will be putting his WBC bantamweight championship on the line. He's undefeated. The monster's little brother's only lost one fight, but Junto Nakatani is making his way up, and they're ready for a showdown if he wins, perhaps with the monster next year at some point, maybe in the spring or in the fall. They're saying it could probably be one of the biggest fights in Japanese history. I am surprised by the talk finally about that. I think Nakatani deserves to be in the top 10 because what he's done. And last but not least, I was surprised because I thought the powers that be, the people that make these decisions, would try to make Nakatani fight the younger brother of the monster first before he got a shot at the monster. But I think now the money is talking. People are tired of seeing waiting. They want to see that fight.
All right. Before we get to the MMA, I know we talked about, you had some questions for me. We talked about Haney suing Ryan Garcia, and you wanted to talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah, I just wanted to get from you, and then of course I'll expand on it too, and may expand on it too. But I want to know from you because for some people, the fact that they say Ryan Garcia cheated, is on PEDs, the powers that be bound uh, actually expelled him, if you will, for a little bit from penalizing from boxing for a little bit for about a year. And with that being said, Devin Haney's record is back to being clear, like with no losses and whatnot. And now Devin Haney is suing Ryan Garcia to try to get everything back and kind of show I'm back on top. How do you see this? How do you view, first of all, what Devin Haney is doing as the fighter that he was? You think everything's back to normal for him? And how do you think other people see him?
I don't think everything's back to normal for him. And, by him suing and kind of prolonging this, and I will say this, he has a right to do whatever he wants to. His father has a right to do whatever he wants to. But the only way you right this wrong is you get in a ring and you fight him, square up, and take him out. That's the only way you right this wrong. I understand you getting it off your record, things of that sort, but you can't erase the memory of all the folks that saw what happened. You cannot erase that memory, whether you felt he cheated or not. He's paying the price for that. But you want to hurt him in his pockets now. I understand that, but you can't right this wrong. We talked about the fighter that fought Cotto with the plaster in his hands, and Cotto didn't do this. I have never heard this before in boxing, where you want to sue a person for cheating. And so cheating like that in the ring, it's always like, okay, I'm going to get you back and we're going to do this fair and square. And I'm going to give you these hands fair and square to show you who's the better man. Cotto came back. Sugar Shane Mosley came back from the same fighter who had the plaster in his hand. They didn't sue. They wanted to show that I am better than this guy who had the advantage over me. So it to me it's a sad state of affair of the current day boxer now. They want to be undefeated. They want to be like a Floyd Mayweather or Rocky Marciano and not have any losses on their record. But to me, you can't erase that in my mind what I saw Ryan Garcia do to you. And you were making a lot of mistakes in that fight that you shouldn't have made. You shouldn't have gotten hit, to be honest with you. But you went in there with pride, and we talked about it on Black's podcast when Black Men Talk. Pride comes before a fall. You talked a lot. Your dad talked a lot, but now you're kind of prolonging this. I don't think he's over it. I don't think he's over it, and I'm not sure he's going to be over it once he steps back in the ring, if they ever step back in the ring with. I'm talking about Haney with Ryan Garcia. I think this is going to haunt him for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you saying that. The one thing I think is they had the opportunity to do a lot of things where I think, as you mentioned, that they Haney Camp maybe made some mistakes. If you felt some kind of way, I think they were so proud and really believed that Devin Haney was so much better than Ryan Garcia because of the previous fights in the amateurs that they felt that Ryan Garcia was going to be unfocused because he was acting like a knucklehead and showing irrational behavior. Man, we got this guy. No matter he's not really focused and he's off his meds or whatever else one day when you want to say. But the one thing they did not account for is that he could have been playing possum.
Yeah, he
And
distracted them definitely.
yeah. And the thing about that is with Devin Haney, two things. First of all, they complained about the cheating now, saying he was on PEDs and whatnot, and he tested positive. So you have the right, like you said, to sue if that's what you want to do. But my main thing is from the beginning, when they found out that Ryan Garcia was going to be 3 pounds overweight, and they thought there was some shenanigans behind that, I think at that point, if you really wanted to be square and fair about this, and you wanted to be even, they should have said, and they've even said it now, afterwards, they should have said, no, we're not fighting until you make weight. I think they thought they could chump him. They just thought he was that much better, Devin Haney, that is, and could just knock this guy in the next week. But they got a rude awakening because Ryan Garcia was like, no, I'm ready, I'm ready. The other thing too, though, is that you have to worry about you have to question the camp. I mean, and they only know what they do because they've been together this long, and that's how they prepare. But my other question is, if you were so confident about facing Ryan Garcia in the amateurs and felt like you had the upper hand, the one thing that was clear that they did not prepare for was that lazy ass left hook. They said that's all he had. And when you rewatch the fight, PEDs or whatever, the one thing he was getting clocked with was that left hand. Left hook, yeah, left hook. So now with that being said, you got to ask yourself, PEDs didn't help him knock use that left hook on you. Like my man said, that's you dropping.
Yep.
Like, not putting the phone up. You gotta put the phone up to make sure you don't making a call. Keep the phone up. When you drop the phone, bang, put the phone up, keep the phone up. So with that being said, I just kind of wonder, there's a lot deeper than that. And as you said before, I do not really see him in the same light right now. Not saying he's scared or anything like that, but you now I need to see you fight somebody of true significance. Maybe Haney again to show us that you're that guy still, and you're that guy, and you want to fight again. Because right now, it's like you're looking for somebody to give you something back that you think you lost, or somebody to tease you out of, and then now you want your status back in the top 10, and I don't think he deserves that.
No, like I said, you can't erase. You can't have the Men in Black pen and just erase everybody's memory of what happened. He made a lot of technical mistakes in there. They did not. To me, it's like they did not prepare for this fight, and he got caught. He got caught, and you know the guy's strong suit, and you got caught with it anyway. So, I mean, what else can you say? But to me, it's like this generation of fighters. They're a different animal. They're not like the old school fighters. Even some of the great fighters who lost fights came back and avenged those fights, whether or not the other guy cheated, whatever the circumstance was. Okay, I got to show you I'm best. The great Joe Louis. I lost. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna knock you out and and get my title back. So this is the fight game. This is what happens. Sometimes you will lose. Sometimes you will lose. You don't plan on it, but it happens. What do? You get back up and you go back at it. There's a famous quote with the Rocky movie. You know, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, but you got to get back up and give it another shot. Um, any other fights that we need to talk about before we go to MMA?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this at you because I know you don't want to talk about it, but I do not care. It appears as if Jermell Charlo, yes, Jermell Charlo is back in the gym and getting was ready to get back in the 154 division, and he's ready to get back in the ring and show where he belongs. And he has already come out and said he would love to fight. I think Tszyu is fighting in a fight, and he wants the winner of either Tszyu and his opponent or the winner of Crawford and Fedora, if that comes across. And he probably would even fight Errol Spence at this point if it's Errol Spence and Fedora. But I think it's going to seem like it's going to be Crawford and Fedora. Again, the fact, as you said before, the factor that yes, he did lose Canelo last time out, and we saw that. I still think at 154 he can do damage, and I think there's going to be some people that don't want to see him. So I think he deserves to have the opportunity to show that what he's capable of at 154 because he didn't lose at 154, still undefeated at 154. He just lost to Canelo, 14 pounds or whatever was up. Same way Crawford was talking about moving up 14 or even really 3 weight classes to fight Canelo. No excuses. I'm just saying I think a man has the right to defend the division that he never lost in.
Well, with Charlo is like I'm not from Missouri, but you just gonna have to show me at this particular point. I've heard you talk, I've heard you brag, I've heard you seen you get into altercations. I've seen all the antics outside the ring, but with that Carnelo fight, just turn me away from him because you called him out. You called that man out, and you refused to fight him. You refused to fight that man. You sat there and you took a beat. You didn't even go after him. You didn't go out on your shield, and that's not what I was expecting. So at this particular point, I don't want to see any promos. I don't want to see him in any press conferences. I want to see him in the ring show it, whether it's 154 or any other weight, because I don't know to right now is he just fighting because he needs money or is he the real deal like we thought he was before? So he's going to have to show me. He's going to have to show me he's real. He's dedicated, and he wants he wants this again because I'm not a believer now. I'm really not.
Well, that's the wonderful thing that we have the ability to have our own opinions. It's what makes this show great and this country amazing.
So if he shows me different, I'm man enough to say, hey, I was wrong. This guy's back and all that other stuff, but you got to show me. I can't look at the videos of him getting in altercations and him, going to other fights, want to pick fights with other folks outside the ring. Show me in the ring. Show me in the ring, because you showed me nothing in that Cornello fight. And I ain't saying that was an easy fight, but you stepped up, you called him out, and you disappointed. You really disappointed. And you know this. I fell in love with the Charlos. I fell in love, but as of late, it's like they're not showing. They're not showing that they're the Lions Den. You can't say that anymore. You can't say that anymore. In my opinion, you can't claim that title of the Lions Den when you just doing the rope a dope, and at least Ali had a plan with the rope a dope. He came out and beat George Foreman. You just sat there and took a beating, and that just left me with a bad taste in my mouth with the Charlos. I have the utmost respect for all fighters, and I haven't lost respect for them, but I just need to see it now. I don't want to hear him talk about it now. You know, in the hood they say don't talk about it, be about it, and they got to be about it now.
Now, I get that. I just find it ironic though, because in this, particularly with Jermel, there have been so many other fighters that have come falling short or whatever and fell short, but you never did really go in on them. The Caleb Plants of the world and other people like that too, that never really showed us what we're looking for. I mean, you had a right to how you feel, right? I'm not
Yeah, Caleb
square.
Plant's the same thing. I don't look at him as the same fighter anymore. When you sitting there trying to apologize during the fight, come on, man,
Yeah,
come on.
but I mean, I guess my point is, you've really been on this Charlo thing, and you got a right to. But I guess I'm saying I want to see some more energy about some of these other guys that have fallen short too, because I think it sounds like, in correct me if I'm wrong, that you expected a lot more out of Charlo, and that's why you really were
Yeah, I
disappointed.
did. I expect a lot more out of Caleb Plant. I went in on Caleb Plant. I'm like, I'm not watching another Caleb Plant fight. After you sat there and talked all that junk. Yeah, I think I watched the last one he fought, but you had to fight. You were winning the fight, and all of a sudden, I don't know if he just ran out of gas. He hit you and punked you. I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, I have all respect for all these fighters, but when you show me who you are, then I have no choice but to say, okay, you know, it's not, and I thought Caleb Plant had a good chance to beat Canelo because of the style, how he fights, and he just didn't bring it. And so when you're talking to the man in the ring, and now you're not talking junk, you like, oh, I admire you, you're a great fighter and all that. During the fight, you're supposed to be fighting, man. You're supposed to be fighting. But at least Caleb did try to fight. Charlo didn't, and that's something I just can't swallow. He did not want to fight. It's almost like he didn't want to fight. And so, maybe I was hard on Charlo, but at least Caleb tried to fight, tried to put up a fight. I mean, he just gave up in the last few rounds. But damn, come on, man, it's a fight. It ain't, it ain't a comment. You ain't on a date. Let's go.
Okay, all right.
All right. So yeah, we'll see. So let's go to MMA, UFC. I watched the Juliana Pena fight. I don't think she won that convincingly enough. Pennington, I think, may have got that. It was a split decision, but I don't know if they're trying to set up something later down the road. But Kayla Harrison, I like Kayla Harrison. She's rough and tough. She's strong, and she wins her bout. And there's something in the works. We're probably not going to announce it today of her because she's rising in the UFC. But Pereira and Roundtree, I just saw Roundtree in that fight. He was really kind of reaching. He had a disadvantage with the reach, and Pereira is just a monster. And you know what they're talking about now. And I said this a few weeks ago. They're talking about Pereira stepping up and Bones Jones. And that's the fight I think people want to see.
Man, I've been telling you for a long time. I said, a lot of people, they think they want, but they want what they want, right? Till you get in there with it, and then you go, damn, I didn't know he was that good. I know he was that good. I mean, ask Daniel,
Yeah.
Daniel C. Daniel C.
Oh,
done
yeah, yeah.
everything in the world about that man. He talked about his brother, talked about everybody else, talked about the drugs he on. And every time you come in and that man be whooping his, and you just don't accept it. Is he a disappointment at times? Yeah, because he could be so much better or great. But that's like saying Venus and Serena Williams. Somebody said they weren't good enough because they didn't focus enough on tennis. They worry about fashion. Are you kidding me? That's greatness, bruh. What's wrong with you? How great they got to be. Anyway, but back to this. So okay, I mean, I like that. I know you pumping up Pereira. You on that wagon, like I said. So bring it because John Bones Jones, like I told you, if he at 175, 185, 205, 225, he ready to take it on and whoop ass and take it names. That's one thing I would say about him. If you can keep him focused, keep him out of the whatever he's doing and keep him focused on this thing. When he comes to fight, He's a bad dude, and I like him. He might be a little touch, but not by Angel. Might be a little off center, but the dude is nasty. You get him in the ring, he's a bad dude.
I just want to see this fight. Because Pereira's just manhandling folks, and you see, I was looking at Roundtree's eye; it was just kind of hanging during the fight, and then they were talking to him afterwards, blood coming out of his nose. I'm like, dang, And Pereira just took his time in the fight. Like, I'm gonna let this guy kind of wear himself down. He was reaching a lot. I was surprised that Roundtree didn't try to take Pereira to the ground because of the reach that Pereira had. There was no way he was going to get any great punches in. He did get a shot or two in, but it's like you got to take a guy like that to the ground and test him out. But he just couldn't get to him. And as the fight went on, it was like, oh man, this guy is. I mean, it was a brutal beating.
Dude, I'm gonna say it one more time. Bones Jones, baby. This is
I want
Bones
to see
Jones.
it. I want to see it.
This ain't nobody. This ain't even Israel. This Bones Jones.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different monster when he right. Even when he not right, you can't beat him because he be coming out like. And now we talk about going to heavyweight. Is Pereira ready for that? That jump? That's the other thing too, because boy, we'll take you to the ground. He'll do whatever he got to do, and he out there jumping around now. Look like he rested after his surgeries and whatnot. And when you get Bones Jones a little motivated, somebody in trouble.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say I'm not a big fan of Dana White, but the UFC has a tendency to give you the fights you want to see. Unlike boxing, the UFC will give you the fights you want to see.
Believe me, whatever's going on, Dana White knows. Dana White knows what Bone Jones is capable of. So when all of that stuff was said, the drama and all of the stuff going surrounding him, he's like, you just need to take a little time, get yourself together, and whenever you get right, come back and see us. He would until that man take off his robe for the last time in his belt. He always got a home with Dana White because Dana White know he's a cash cow and he's gonna perform. And no matter what you say, he got older. He gained about 35 pounds, whatever else. I mean, and he got he cool with his stomach and everything.
Yeah, he came in with a dad bod last time I saw him.
Yeah, he came in there like, what's up? I mean, I love it. I'm gaining weight. I'm happy about it. I'm good. I'm eating well. I ain't got to starve myself. I'm still ready to fight. Now that's a fighter, bro. That's a fighter. He don't care. I'm a little heavier, got a little older. I'm gonna still knock you in the next week. That is a fighter. I love that dude, John Jones. Keep your life together, man. Please keep your shit together. Just give us something and walk off in the sunset and live happily ever after.
That would be a big money fight. If that happened, that would be a big money fight. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and we're the Gap Band 2, and this is the Fight Game.